My wife cheated with my best friends on vacation, and life took an unimaginable turn. 4 years ago, my life was completely shattered. My wife, Karen, with whom I had been married for 13 years, betrayed me in the most unimaginable way. The worst part? She didn't just cheat with a stranger or a fling, it was with my two best friends. At the time, I thought my life was over. Little did I know that things were only beginning to spiral, not just for me, but for all of us involved. Let me take you back to when it all started. I was 37 years old, and Karen was 36. We had been together for 16 years in total, and we lived what most would call a comfortable life. Our 15-year-old daughter, Lily, was our pride and joy. We had two best friends, Dave and Jason, whom I had known since college. Dave was 35 and married to Megan, while Jason, also 35, had recently divorced. We had a tradition, the three couples, of going on vacation together every summer. It was something we looked forward to all year, a chance to unwind, share laughs, and recharge. Everything was set for our trip that year, but just 3 days before our flight, I broke my ankle. I was in a lot of pain, had to be on crutches for the next 16 weeks, and the medication made me groggy. I didn't want to be a burden, so I insisted that Karen go on the trip without me. She hesitated at first, offering to stay, but I pushed her to go and enjoy herself. When she returned from that trip, I immediately noticed a change. She was different, more affectionate, more attentive, more passionate. At first, I thought the vacation had done wonders for her stress. Our sex life was reignited, and it felt like we were back in our early 20s. Little did I know that her new spark came from the guilt of cheating. Fast forward to a couple of weeks after Thanksgiving. Everything seemed fine, Karen and I were closer than ever. She even planned a girls' shopping trip with Megan, complete with an overnight hotel stay. That night, something felt off, though. We were all on Snapchat, mainly because it was an easy way to stay in touch with our daughter, Lily. I sent Karen a snap of our dog, then, out of habit, checked the Snap map. That's when I saw it. Karen, Megan, and Jason were all at the same hotel, miles away. Jason wasn't supposed to be with them. I called Karen, but she didn't answer. I called again, then again, and after the fourth call went to voicemail, panic set in. I thought about driving there, but Lily was at home, and I didn't want to leave her alone late at night. I had no choice but to wait. Desperately needing answers, I called Dave. He answered, and I asked him if he knew why Jason was at the hotel with them. I expected confusion or surprise, but what I got instead was calm resignation. With a heavy sigh, Dave said, "Yeah, they're there." Megan and Jason convinced Karen to have another threesome. I felt the ground drop out from under me. I was in shock, completely frozen. What do you mean another threesome? How long had this been going on? Dave sounded defeated as he explained everything. It all started during that vacation I missed. Jason and Karen spent a lot of time together since they were the only two without their spouses. What started as innocent fun quickly escalated after a night of heavy drinking. The first night, Megan caught Jason and Karen hooking up in Jason's room. Instead of confronting them, she went back to her room and told Dave, who, shockingly, wasn't upset. In fact, Dave and Megan had been experimenting with the idea of an open relationship. They figured that what happened on vacation stayed on vacation. Dave confessed that he had always been attracted to Karen and saw this as an opportunity. As the days went on, Jason and Karen grew bolder. According to Dave, by the third day, they were acting like a couple, only hiding it for the social media posts they shared with me. They kept up the charade all week, and on the last night, Megan suggested a partner swap. Dave finally got a shot with Karen, but he admitted that it didn't last long, and Karen went right back to Jason's room afterward. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. My two best friends and my wife had betrayed me, and it wasn't a one-time mistake. It was a week-long affair, and Karen wasn't even discreet about it. Once I had the full story from Dave, I confronted Karen. By then, she had already tried calling me several times after I sent her a picture of her and Jason together. She stormed into the house in the middle of the night, crying and begging for forgiveness. I told her to sit down because I had questions, and I wanted the truth, no more lies, no more excuses. I asked her why. Why would she do this? Why cheat with my best friends? Her answer was both heartbreaking and infuriating. She said that she felt free for the first time in a long time, that she had been under so much pressure from work, and that she just let herself go. She said the alcohol made her act impulsively, but I cut her off. Okay, fine. That explains the first night. But what about the rest of the week? You weren't drunk when you kept going back to him over and over. Her response? When in Rome. When in Rome. That was her excuse? I was speechless. She tried to backtrack, saying that once she crossed the line, there was no point in stopping. You'd be mad whether it happened once or 100 times, she said. What was the difference? I couldn't believe what I was hearing. The next few weeks were a blur of anger, pain, and disbelief. Karen insisted she wanted to fix things, go to counseling, do anything to make it right. I told her I wasn't sure if that was possible. She kept pushing, offering me full access to her phone, accounts, anything I needed to rebuild trust. But it wasn't just the cheating. It was the level of betrayal, the lies, and the fact that this wasn't a one-time mistake. Karen had actively chosen to keep going back to Jason and Dave, and that was something I couldn't just forgive and forget. Still, I agreed to give her 1 week to prove she was serious. 1 week to show that she was willing to put in the effort. If, by the end of that week, I still felt the same, we would file for a no-contest divorce. Surprisingly, Karen held up her end of the deal, cutting off contact with Megan and Jason, setting up therapy sessions, and even suggesting we try something new to balance the scales. It was the end of that week when Karen suggested something I never saw coming. She said she wanted to level the playing field and offered me hall passes. 10 of them, to be exact. I could use them whenever I wanted, no questions asked. She even suggested we have a threesome. I thought it was a ridiculous idea at first. I wasn't interested in dating or hooking up with random people. But the more Karen pushed for reconciliation, the more I began to feel that if this was what she wanted, maybe I should at least consider it. After all, she had spent a week betraying me with my best friends. Maybe this was a chance for me to even the score. So, I agreed to the threesome, thinking that it would be a way to put the past behind us. Karen arranged everything, and within a few weeks, she had set it up with a woman from her spin class. I couldn't believe it when I saw the picture of her. Tiffany was gorgeous, and for the first time in a long time, I felt a flicker of excitement. The night of the threesome was surreal. Karen was trying to show me that she was committed to fixing things, and while I could see she was making an effort, part of me still felt detached. I went through with it, and surprisingly, Karen seemed to enjoy it more than I expected. After that night, things between us changed. Karen became more open, more adventurous, and for a while, it felt like we were reconnecting. I started using my hall passes, too. There was a woman named Brooke who worked at a restaurant near my office, and we began seeing each other casually. By the time I had used up most of my hall passes, I realized that I had developed real feelings for Brooke. In the end, I couldn't keep pretending that Karen and I were fixing things. I told her that I wanted a divorce for real this time, and surprisingly, she didn't fight me on it. We filed for divorce, and I moved out, finding a small place for myself. Life moved on. I continued seeing Brooke for a couple of years, but eventually, we broke up. Karen dated off and on, but nothing serious. We co-parented Lily, and for the most part, things were civil. But then something unexpected happened at Lily's graduation. At Lily's graduation, Karen and I sat next to each other, and for the first time in years, it didn't feel awkward. We joked, we talked, and even flirted a little. A week later, I couldn't stop thinking about it, so I asked her out. To my surprise, she said yes, on one condition. We had to go to couples counseling first. And that's where we are now. It's been 6 months since we started counseling, and we've been dating again. Things are different, and we're exploring new possibilities. I don't know what the future holds, but for now, I'm just taking it one day at a time. If you had asked me 4 years ago where I thought I'd be today, I never would have guessed this. Life has a funny way of surprising you. Enjoyed the story? Hit subscribe and turn on notifications for more. Drop a comment with your thoughts or ideas for the next one.